right. Hey there, everyone. We're back with another episode of Remote Stories. My guest today is an awesome guy from Kyrgyzstan, a front-end engineer at Remote, Kayrat Kaipov. How's it going, Kayrat?
Hey man, it's good. Thanks for having me. I'm
Yeah,
happy to be here.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, man. So you are living and working in your home country of Kyrgyzstan. So what is the remote work situation like there? Who's working remotely? Which companies are they working for?
Yeah, mainly, as far as I know, about 50% of our population do not have access to the internet, to the normal internet. That's why it's pretty tough to work remotely, especially from the villages. But in the cities, in towns, we have a lot of people who work remotely, and they work mostly as a freelancers, trying to look for like clients and gigs in Russian speaking market. It's mostly from Russia, Kazakhstan, and other post-Soviet Union countries. They're doing like engineering, designing, copywriting, etc. And of course, if the person speaks English, then he try to find some clients from European country or United States. And but most of them working as a freelancers for Russian speaking companies.
All right. No, that's super interesting because normally what we hear about, is remote work centralized in English speaking places, but of course it's
Yeah,
it's a global phenomenon and people are working,
yeah.
globally with a variety of different ways. For you specifically, how did you find out about the opening for an engineering position at Remote? What was that process like?
Wow, that was pretty tough because even like despite the fact that opening has a title description for most of the times, they have requirement to be only U.S. citizenship or European Union, and it was quite tough. Not many companies can hire globally, but luckily for me, I found this job opening, and I really like it. At the moment when I read description that you will have a chance to have a chat with CEO, even you are not even employed, and that makes a sense really. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm really lucky enough to have a chance to work with that team, with that people. Yeah, it was super cool, but it was tough. I was looking for it for like 2 months.
Nice. Yeah, that's a committed job search for sure, and Remote is definitely lucky
Yeah,
to have you as well, man. Tell me, kind of switching tracks here to a little bit more about Kyrgyzstan and where you live. So you've told me earlier you live in Bishkek, in the capital. What's
yeah,
it like there?
exactly. Well, it's a typical post-Soviet Union capital in the country. We have like same problems as another 15 republics, like not the best government, not the best economics, but the best people, of course. The Kyrgyz hospitality is the main advantage of the people here because even like uh, if you are a guest here, you that 100% you'll be offered the best dish they can ever cook. The best cook is the best tea. The service will be the best. That's like 100%. You can be sure for that. And the people are kind. For me, it's really important to be here. I wasn't born here. I was born in the town named Karabaltaits, near to Bishkek. And for most of the people from the regions, to be in Bishkek, it's already a good thing because you are able to use a fast internet. You are able to like see other people. Most of the businesses or entrepreneurs, they work exactly in Bishkek because it's really hard to work in regions here. And yeah, it's like a typical capital of post-Soviet Union Republic.
Yeah, that's a really interesting way of looking at it. You mentioned the hospitality of the people in the country. Is that why you love working remotely? Where you do? Is that what makes it great for you personally?
For me personally, it's of course family. It makes sense for me. It's really important to be to my family, to be with my family, because Uh, let's be honest, if you are not from United States or Europe, it's really hard to find a better job to get paid really well. And the remote job can reduce the steps of the finding a better job. Just you have to speak English and you have to be good at something. That's it. You can start looking for the remote job. And at the same time, be with your family, be home, be with your friends, be comfortable. When you are comfortable, you are not thinking about like other things, other factors. Where I couldn't imagine like being abroad. Like if you are not feeling good, you won't be good at your job. That's obvious. That's why the remote work here makes me comfortable and effective and lets me like get a better payments. That's it.
Yeah, 100%. I hear where you're coming from. I mean, the importance of being close to family, of being able to have a career without sacrificing,
Yeah,
the people you
exactly.
care about, or yeah, you can have ambition without having to sacrifice location in the process. No,
Yeah.
I mean, that's critical. That's absolutely part of it. Is that why um when did you start getting into programming, and how did that journey take you to where it got you today?
Well, it's almost like 2 years for now, but I'm still on my like beginning journey because the programming for now, like when I joined remote, I felt like that this is a real programming world because you are working with the people that are really huge in this community in this thing. Like for me it's front end job. I'm really surprised and I'm really happy to work with the people who has like 8, 9, 10 years experience in the front end. And for me it's blowing my mind, the things that they know, they think about, I have no idea about it. And I'm learning every day. uh, I'm really happy to get some experience to work with that people. And yeah, how did I came up? Well, it was just realizing that I do want to do some other stuff like programming, and somehow I came up with tutorials on YouTube how to make a website. That's how it started, and then I dive deeper learning programming language. Yeah, that was the way.
Yeah, it's funny how uh, global that journey has become. And when I say global, I mean, the journey that you're taking, learning from YouTube, and getting acquainted with people who've been doing this for years. That journey is happening much the same way all over the world now, right? I mean,
Yeah,
people are learning from, the same, probably the same people that you're learning from on YouTube, the same,
yeah,
probably people in my city here in Texas are learning from those same people on YouTube, because they want, yeah, they want a similar career path, like we're talking about having a global opportunities. There is the
yeah,
truth that many cities consolidate those opportunities. You think about San Francisco, London. Here in Texas, it's Austin. Seattle has some as well in the U.S. And outside of those cities, whether you're thousands of miles away or whether you're only 6, 7, 8 hours away, you still can't commute to work from there. So either you do have
yeah,
to leave at least a little bit where you're coming from to pursue those opportunities, or you can work remotely and make it happen. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Do you have a uh, speaking kind of on the person, the kind of fun side of remote working? Do you have any good stories about working remotely?
Well, um, I enjoy working remotely because could you imagine like Kyrgyz guy have a chat with a colleague, aka a friend from San Francisco about basketball? Like there is a 12 hours difference and still we can chat about it for hours, like who is better, whose team is better. I have a colleague and friend, Justin. He is really a huge basketball fan. And basketball, to be honest, is not that popular here in Kyrgyzstan. The main sport here is soccer, football. and I have nobody to discuss to talk about basketball, and this guy can talk about it for hours.
That is good. And you're a Lakers fan, right? Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And Justin is a Golden State Warriors fan, if I
Warriors
remember.
fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won. Yeah,
All right. I'm sure you guys are having some fun conversations right now too, for sure. Who do
yeah, yeah,
you have a
for
favorite
sure.
player right now? Is it LeBron?
It would be like so like obvious if I would name LeBron. I would say it's Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah,
For me,
Kuzma.
he's pretty good.
Yeah, underappreciated for sure.
Yeah, of course.
Right on, man. That's great. So you're thinking kind of at a higher level, thinking about the way you found remote and your journey to get to this point so far. What should other companies be doing to find more people like you, people who are doing great work and
Uh-huh.
rising in their knowledge in places where companies may not be actively recruiting?
Of course, I think they should start hiring globally, like without any US only, Europe only requirements. And I think also the people should start looking for a better job more actively, like never give up, because there are companies that could offer you a better job whenever you are, totally not depending on the city where you live. All you need is just a laptop, internet, and your willingness. Yeah, they people should start more actively looking for the companies, because uh, even like for me, it was surprising that the company can offer me those benefits that I'm taking now. Uh, it was really hard to believe that there are like a bunch of companies that could really hire globally. They don't care about like where you are in Kyrgyzstan or in United States. That's why, uh, for my advice for the people, like keep looking for it, not never give up. Just you'll find a better company in future, but just don't stop.
Absolutely. That's great advice in certainly a lot of areas. Have you found that that the asynchronous part of remote work, working asynchronously with a team that's all across the world. I mean, you and I, we're exactly 12 hours
Yeah,
apart, and we work together, um,
yeah,
in however we can.
sure.
What's that asynchronous process been like for you? Have you found that to be a really effective way of working with a team?
Yeah, yeah, I do, because it's really important to people work whenever they feel like work whenever they feel better for it, because you don't have to be uh, with your laptop at the exact hours like for 5 days a week, because you I think you are effective when you like have a willingness, like it could be emergency, it could be something like you have to do at exact that time, like immediately. That's why I think asynchronous work is really important for the remote companies, that they can let employees to work whenever they are really good, for in the time whenever they good at.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. You and I have talked, just before this about, being a night owl or being a morning person, or, when you find, the right time to work, and making sure that, you're always working on, something that you're doing, but you're not waiting for somebody else to be done with something before you can move
Yeah,
on with your own stuff,
exactly,
because
exactly. Yeah.
that's just the best way to do it. All right. I just have kind of one closing question for you, thinking more broadly in terms of both remote work and Kyrgyzstan. So how do you see the future of remote work shaping up in the country? What's going to happen next for Kyrgyzstan and remote work?
Mm, yeah, it's hard to predict, because people here like a little bit old schoolish. Most of them cannot admit the fact that the person can make better money being home. Like my father, he still like thinks that I'm playing video games 24/7, which I'm not. Yeah, but of course, the pandemic thing helps most of the people to realize, to understand that there is a job at home, like you can do it at home, being home. And now I see more and more people start learning new technologies, start like trying to change their job to where they can work remotely from Kyrgyzstan, for example. And it's really good. I see a lot of people who try to become an engineer, learning new programming languages, new frameworks, and that's good. And I expect it to be uh, like at least at the cities and the towns, it must be huge in like coming 5 years because we are on the right path. I think it's gonna be good.
That's great to hear. Yeah, as long as the people keep looking and as long as the companies keep hiring more and more
Yeah,
globally, good things
yeah,
happening, right?
yeah.
All right. Awesome. Awesome, Kyrgyz. Well, hey, I think that's about all, but thanks for joining us today. Thanks for talking to me. I really appreciated the conversation. It's been great to have you.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.